I'm living my best life. I ain't going back and forth with no bot. Man, it's your boy. Hold on. Young Don. And today, this video, you see the body title, man. I'm talking about my spiritual awakening. I haven't really gotten to depth about it on here. I talk a lot about it more on my podcast. You can go check that out from below. But let's get straight into this video, family. Okay, so I say my spiritual awakening started maybe a year ago. And at that time, it was very, very, how can I say, what's the word? Not revolutionary, I forgot the word, but it was very, very important at the time because at age 17, that's when I left religion. I was raised into religion by my grandmother. I was raised by my grandmother. And when once I became 17, I left her house. And I moved into an apartment building with my siblings. It was 4 of us. We were all raised by our grandmother. She was strong. We were raised by my grandmother and my aunt. And during that time, before I moved out, my aunt had passed away of cancer. And so that pretty much knocked over the domino to start my whole spiritual journey. Through my whole life, I feel like as chosen ones, we've all been, spirituality always been there, you know? It always been right next to us. It always been there just waiting for us to realize it. So I was always into guided meditations. I wanted to astral project because my sister, she had astral projected. And I thought it was mad cool. I wanted to do it, you know what I'm saying? Who doesn't want to astral project? So once my aunt died, that changed my whole perspective. I became alone. I started to just isolate myself away from everybody. But when I did that, I was pretty much learning who I was, learning who I really was. I started to come into contact with YouTubers that are like-minded now, that I realized that's what they were speaking on. Like, I can actually understand them way better now because I understand what they're talking about. I can relate. And so once I started to come in contact with them, I started to meditate. And I found that once I started to meditate, I became able to control my emotions. I became able to recognize everything that was going on in my life, and I really became knowledgeable of things that I didn't know beforehand. And I can say that meditation changed my life for the best because not only did my family realize that, but I realized it myself. And so once I started to change my daily habits, whether it was my eating habits, I went vegan, semen retention, everything, I just changed it right away. No questions asked, I just changed it. I realized that it was time. It was time for me to make this change, and I'm going to do it for the best. I didn't do it because everybody else wanted me to do it. I didn't do it because everybody else thought I should do it. I did it because I wanted to. I did it because I knew that that was the best way of life. I knew that this is what I wanted in my life. I wanted inner peace. I wanted love. I wanted happiness. And I knew that, I learned out in the way that the only way for me to find that is in myself. I couldn't be taught religion. I didn't like religion. I'm going to be real. I hated religion. I felt as if religion was meant to keep me in fear. I felt as if religion was just made to live with rules and regulations. I didn't think that I needed to get baptized to have a relationship with God. I didn't think I had to go to church every day to have a relationship with God. I didn't think I had to read the Bible every day just to have a relationship with God. I realized that God was inside of me already. And He has always been there. It's always been there. Whatever you want to, your higher power, the Creator. I hate using the word God because I feel like it's misused. So most of the time I say Creator. But I had to realize that the Creator was always with me. It's always been there. And I just had to connect with it, and I had to connect through myself. Okay, now I want to talk about the experiences I had. And I'm going to drop videos during the beginning of my journey so you can get the feel of how I was acting, what was going through my mind. I find myself now with me being my best friend, dog. Like, I talk to myself all the time. I look in the mirror, I talk to myself. I might call that shit weird, but I feel good, man. But I went through the state of questioning everything. I questioned everything around me. I questioned how people were walking. I questioned, like, are those real people? I questioned the sky. Why do these clouds look fake? They're trying to block my sun, bro. They trying to block my sun. I questioned every single thing that other people would look to me and be like, man, you crazy. And it happened. Other people started to realize I was changing. A lot of people don't like change. A lot of people don't want you to change. They want you to be the old self. They want you to be the same person that they met. And so once I went through that change, people didn't know how to respond to it. They didn't know how to talk to me anymore. I didn't really want to talk anymore because the things that they wanted to talk about just didn't interest me anymore. Look, I found myself not even wanting to talk to a lot of people. I found myself not even wanting to talk about the old shit I used to talk about. It's crazy because now I want to talk about spiritual shit. I want to talk about meditation. I want to talk about manifestation. They want to talk about this. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about frequencies. I want to talk about crystals. I want to talk about meditation. But a lot of people didn't want to talk about that. So that's when I isolated myself again. And I started to realize, I started to become alienated. And I started to realize that I wasn't from here. I know this is not my home. And I'm not the crazy one. I realized who was really the crazy one. The crazy people were the people that do the same thing as everybody else and call it the norm. I'd rather look crazy to you than look normal to everyone else for doing the same thing everybody else is doing. That was my mindset. I no longer wanted to be like everybody else. I no longer want to do everything that everybody else was doing. I finally felt security. I finally felt like, okay, I found my life path. I finally found what I've been looking for my whole life without even knowing it. And so I went through that stage of just questioning everything. Then I went through the stage of being alone. I keep my energy safe. I keep that shit with me. And nobody abused that. Fuck it, I guess I'm weird. Then I went through the stage, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people might lie about it, but I went through the stage that I really thought I was crazy. I really thought I was crazy. Everybody saying I'm crazy, everybody telling me I was crazy. I started to think like, damn, am I really crazy? I started to believe it. That's all I was known, and it got to the point where people didn't even have to tell me I was crazy. I felt it. I felt their body language of how they responded to what I was saying. And I would shut up. And I would lower my conversation vibrations. I would go down to their level just to have a conversation with them. And I started to realize I can't do that any longer. It wasn't helping me. I had to realize that I can't do that just to have a conversation. If I have to lower my vibration to talk to you, I just can't be always around you. And I had to realize that. And I got to the point I realized that I wasn't so crazy. And I feel like a lot of people don't tell you about the ups and downs of a spiritual awakening. I had ups and downs, and I'm going to be the first one to admit it. I went through the phase where my spirituality died down a little bit. It's a spiritual high where it's up here. I'm not going to be the one to lie to you and tell you it's always going to stay up, because it's not. You got to find balance. But once I started, it was all the way up here. Then I went to a phase, it came back down, then it come back up. I know a lot of you guys can resonate with that. We all have spiritual highs and it goes down, spiritual highs and it goes down. That's why we have to find a balance between balancing out what is right and what's wrong. I hate right and wrong. I hate labels, but that's the world we live in, I guess. And I ended up, and I'll see myself falling off my spiritual journey. Like, I'll see myself falling back into my old habits, doing the same thing I used to do. Like, I could go through my Instagram story and I'll see the difference. Like, okay, for this month, I'm always posting spiritual things. I'm always uplifting my followers. Okay, now this month, I'm just out just wilding, not even worrying about nothing. I'm not meditating much. Okay, now I'm back on my spiritual journey. Okay, I moved. Okay, I'm back on my spiritual journey. I'm off it. Okay, I'm back on it. And I had to realize that instead of trying to make it a challenge to do this, I had to make it a way of life. And that's where becoming a better version of you. I had to learn more things and gain more knowledge. But I realize now that all that happened for a reason. Everything that I put out, everything you put out into the world is a reflection. So the world is going to reflect whatever you put out. Everything that happened on my journey happened for a reason. I've learned so much. And once I looked at it, I was at a point when I was at my low, and I believed that, damn, I'm never going to be able to reach that high again. I know I'm never going to be reached that high because I had that religion mentality. When I was in religion, it was the same way. I was good one time. I was doing everything they wanted me to do in the religion. Then I would stop. I would come back. Then I would stop. And once I found that stopping point, I never went back. Nobody should have to question a religion and be stuck in it. You know, nobody should. Nobody should have to. If you're in a religion, right, and you know there's something weird about it, but you're standing. And I had to do that shadow work to realize that same mentality traveled on with the spirituality, because I felt as if I had to do this or I'm gonna be I'm a bad person. I have to do this, so I'm a bad person, and I will beat myself up about it. But we can't beat ourselves up when we do wrong. We just have to learn from every situation, because it happens for a reason. But my journey, it changed my life for the best. I'm living proof. Y'all seeing me change right in front of y'all eyes, man. I wasn't like this before. I'm happy, my nigga. I'm happy, bro. Drugs can't do this shit, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sober, nigga. I became happy, like real happy. Before my journey, happiness for me was money, fame, girls. But now happiness is just being able to do what I love and talk to you guys about it. Being out in nature, just being happy. Reading books, I read way more than I ever have in life. And I realized that these books is where the real knowledge is at. It's not on the news. And that's what I had to realize, family. So that's just the beginning of my spiritual journey. And now you're witnessing the other half of it. So I tell you all guys, man, I'm not giving up on you, so don't give up. Man, my camera always cutting out, man. I gotta get a better SD card to hold more memory. But like I was saying, man, we're on this journey together. I'm not giving up on you, so please, please don't give up on yourself. This is the journey that you guys get to see with me. You get to be on it with me. I want to send all type of love, positive vibrations, a lot of good energy to you guys, man. I love each one of you, man. I want to send all type of peace to you, man. Namaste. I got your back more than your smile do. You say you love me, inspire, we even cry too. I said I love you, kept it real, must not remind you. You switched up off for the cloud, you even lied to.